They couldn't vote because if you didn't swear the oath, your name couldn't have been put on the register as a branch executive because to complete the process, you must sign and swear the oath. They failed to do that.
Even though the court had said that their name should be added?
At that time, wait. At that time, there was no court case. I want people to understand this matter once and for all. There was no court case. Then they petitioned the then regional chairman, Adekoka. Adekoka ruled on it and said, well, you have no case.
Okay.
And so, but the register has been done already. So if anything, after the elections, you'll be sworn in. But your name is not part of the register. So they didn't vote in the constituency conference, those 6 branches.
Yeah.
Then they petitioned national. The Ofusu-Ampofo-led national. It went to the appeals committee led by Alex Egbefia. Directives were given on it. Only those 2 branches, go and swear them in, but they won't be added to the register. They said they weren't comfortable with that. So they refused to come for swearing in. Then we had the new regional and national executives.
Yeah.
They went again to petition national. After the petition national, the general secretary and new national chairman said, look, we've seen the Egbefia report, so we'll go along with that. Then they go behind national and come and petition Ashimo at the region. And Ashimo calls the matter. And I go there and I say, Ashimo, you don't have the gravitas to sit on this matter. A matter that is before national, you as regional chairman have no locus to sit on it. He says, okay, fine. I didn't know it was at national. If it is there, let's go back there.
Okay.
We are waiting. Then the next thing we see, they go to court, sue the general secretary, sue the regional chairman, and sue the constituency chairman. And when they go to court, they file a writ. That was just before our ward elections. They file a writ seeking an injunction on the ward elections. Specific relief sought from the court. Ward elections.
Okay.
The case was not heard until about 3 weeks ago. Then the judge says, go and swear the 2 branches, the 8, 16, swear them into office.
Yeah.
And so that order is served on us and served on the party. So we write to the constituency writes to the general secretary of the party saying, we've cited this court order. Advise us on the way forward.
Yeah.
The general secretary writes explicitly to us on the 9th of May, saying that comply with the court order, swear the 2 branches in, but for the purposes of the constituency, the parliamentary and presidential primaries, because there had been an earlier FEC decision that nobody should add or remove any name from the register that was used for the constituency conference, swear them in to comply with the court order, but they cannot be added to the register for the purposes of this election. And they will not vote. Stated in black and white. Because you see, FEC had issued a directive as far back as February. Because they had noticed that in some other constituencies, people were replacing names.
Okay.
And so they said, no replacement. So even in Ningo Prampram, there are people who voted in the constituency conference who have died or who have left the constituency. And we have legally gone through the processes of replacement.
Okay.
They weren't allowed to vote in this election because their names were not executives at the time we had a constituency conference.
Okay.
So that was 2 Fridays ago. Then last Friday, just before the election on Saturday, they go back to court and I hear the judge doesn't hear the case in open court and calls the case into his chamber and gives a directive that he's instructing that those 16 names should be added. And I said, well, the judge, I don't know what the judge ate. Or I don't know what he drank.
But that's the court of law.
So what?
Shouldn't the authority supersede that of FEC?
Absolutely not. The judge has no power to give directives in a matter that were not brought before him. The case before the judge, and I would bring a petition to the Chief Justice against that judge. Because he must be investigated for his conduct. Because a case is brought to you seeking an injunction on ward elections. And then you go in chamber to issue directives and a court order that people should be added to a register for parliament. Who brought the parliamentary primaries before you? Who told you judges have the power to extend their judgments beyond what is before them? And so I said, if he thinks he has those powers, he should cite everybody for contempt. But those people will not vote, and they did not vote.
And that's why you insisted on the day that they were not
Absolutely, and said they will not vote.
You will not be cited for contempt?
If the judge thinks he's in the right, he should cite me for contempt and let's see. But I am saying that I would bring a petition against him to the Judicial Service and to the Chief Justice to investigate his conduct in this matter. You see, judges must bear in mind that we have a lot of respect for them. but they must be arbiters of law and not agents of confusion. His actions led to the chaos in Ningo Prampram. Because if I bring a case before you seeking an injunction on a ward election, that injunction rate has not been amended to include a parliamentary primaries. On what basis are you giving orders relative to a matter that is not before you? What is the judge's interest?